This is the Red Podcast.
This is episode number 107. We're talking about building strong business relationships. If you're looking to make better connections, this is the episode for you. That's coming up.
This is the Red Podcast. Real entrepreneur development. Make more money, work less, and live a life of freedom. No BS advice that really works. Here's your hosts, David Hooper and Laurel Staples.
There is one junk food that I like, and it's Snappy Crisp. Those things are awesome, and I couldn't help myself but buy them in bulk at Costco the other day. Are you a Snappy Crisp fan, David?
Yeah. I got a story about Snappy Crisp that I've never told you.
Tell me.
It involves a past relationship.
Do it.
I was dating a woman, and she got me some Snappy Crisp, and she said, "See, good food doesn't have to taste bad," and gave it to me thinking that it was very healthy. And you have informed me that Snappy, P-E-A Crisp, it's pea flour. There's no peas in Snappy Crisp.
But what I love about it is they shape these chips like a pea. And so they look healthy. They put on the front of the package a picture of a pea and then a picture of their product, which is shaped like a pea. It's like Lucky Charms is shaped like a charm. And if charm was actually a vegetable, you'd think that was healthy. But it's not. So you don't think Lucky Charms are necessarily healthy. But Snappy Crisp, they just get you. It makes you feel like you're doing something healthy. And they say that it has less fat or salt than potato chips. And I swear to you, once you pop, you can't stop with those things.
It's like gummy bears being shaped in the shape of the fruit that they're flavored like. Doesn't mean they're actually the fruit.
Are they really gummy bears if they're shaped like a fruit?
Well, I don't know. Gummies?
Gummies. Fair enough. But I like their marketing, and I like what they do with Snappy Crisp and how they present them. There's just something to look at. If you're ever in the grocery store and see them, don't try them because they're too good.
They're delicious.
But look at their packaging and look at what they do and how they make you feel and how they make you think about their product. It's really quite brilliant.
Yeah, food is fascinating to look at from a marketing perspective. Next time you're going through Whole Foods is really good because everything in there is supposed to be healthy.
And it's not.
It is not. A lot of vegan junk food, and it tastes delicious. This is the Red Podcast. Red stands for Real Entrepreneur Development. We help you build an audience, sell more products, and make more money. We're business optimizers. We're going to show you how to be more efficient in your marketing and find the hidden money sitting right in front of you, right next to the Snappy Crisp. We're going to show you how to live life on your terms. We got some feedback, Laurel, on the Red Hotline.
Oh, yeah, the
Jessica
red
Rhodes.
telephone.
Yeah, the hotline. It's like Batman, the commissioner.
I was thinking more like the president. That's the red phone. And they call and start a war.
Yeah. Well, we have something similar, usually for marketing emergencies. Yeah, Jessica Rhodes, she has a podcast called Roads to Success. Also has a service called Interview Connections, which is great if you're running a podcast or if you're somebody with a personality and you want interviews, you want to be interviewed on a podcast. We'll have all Jessica's sites linked from the show notes, redpodcast.com/107. But she called in with a comment on networking.
Hey, David and Laurel, this is Jessica from the Roads to Success podcast, and I had to send you some audio feedback because I went to a local networking event here in my area because I wanted to connect with some local entrepreneurs. And as I was meeting people, feeling very uncomfortable and very out of my comfort zone because I didn't know anyone there, I was thinking about your episode where you talked about networking and the importance of getting out and talking to people. And in particular, there was one person who, when I met her and we both said, "Oh, what do you do in your business?" "Well, this is what I do in my business." She jumped to, "Let's see if we can do business together. How can we help each other?" And it was just one of those things where it felt like she was trying to ask me to marry her before we even went on a first date. I did not think it was the best networking that I have experienced. So I honestly did think about you guys when I was there because you gave some really good advice on how to just network and build relationships with new people in business. So just wanted to give you a shout out that you guys do a really great job. I listen to probably almost every episode, and I look forward to all the actionable advice that you guys give. Thanks, guys. Bye-bye.
The episode Jessica was referring to, it's redpodcast.com/79 if you want to hear that. We run into this all the time. You and I are out and about, and even when we're not, we get these emails of people wanting to do business with us.
What she's talking about is a common issue. We get those emails all the time.
Just yesterday, I got an email from Nigeria. This guy wanted to do some kind of business transaction with me. I think it was like $85 million. If I would give him my bank account, we would split the money. You ever had that?
All the time.
No.
You didn't do that?
Just
That's a
kidding,
smart
just
investment.
kidding. I do get those emails, but I do get a lot of people that do want a partnership with me. They come out of nowhere.
It seems like they come out of nowhere, but they've probably been following you for a while. That's something that we have been working on this year, you and I, David, to reach out to people that we've been following and finding online and in other places and trying to get connected with them and build relationships.
That's one of the things that we're doing. We are reaching out to more people, and we're going to talk about that here on this episode, how to do that, how to build those strong business relationships. When it comes to building relationships, I think the most important thing that you can do is start where you are now, and that could be geographically, that could be the same seminars that you're in, and I think that's what the person who approached Jessica did right. She was starting. The problem is what she was doing, and we talked about this on redpodcast.com/79 on how to make a first impression and how to connect with people. She was trying to go for marriage when she should have been going for the first date. She should have been going for, hey, what's your name? She should have been going for, what's your number? She was escalating to that level of serious relationship way too quickly.
You do have to start where you are now. I think that is an important aspect. It's kind of like if I was to go to a networking event and I connect with somebody like Jessica Rhodes at New Media Expo, which I did last year, and that's great. And we started our relationship where it was. We built from there. She is a fantastic contact, fantastic person, as opposed to me going to an event and Oprah's there and I go up to Oprah and I try to build this relationship with Oprah. It's just kind of crossing tiers a little bit there. So people like to rise up together. And if I can meet somebody like Jessica, who's a hard worker, we have stuff in common, we work on our businesses, about businesses, and we do that and rise up together, that's going to be a whole lot different than me like attacking Oprah and trying to get her to recognize who I am.
We talked about mastermind groups on redpodcast.com/38. We've got an entire episode about that. One of the things that Laurel and I do, I don't think we've ever talked about this, Laurel. We will often bring people over, buy people lunch. We have our own mastermind groups, not necessarily a group that gets together all the time, not necessarily the same people that connect again and again, but different groups, people that we want to meet. We'll actually set up these mastermind events where people can get together and get to know each other. That's a great way to meet people. That builds that relationship. And after one of those meetings, they're a whole lot more likely to say yes to any requests that we have than they would have been with us just walking up to them without knowing anything about them.
Also, keep in mind that we pick people for those events based on a couple different criteria. And one of those is that those people are working. They have businesses and they're working hard on those businesses. Doesn't necessarily matter what the business is, depending on the group that we're putting together, but you have to be in that place. And that's picking people that are where we are now.
We're looking for people that are working as hard as we are. I like to be the dumbest guy in the room personally, but it's worth saying that we try to make talent discovery a constant activity. Try to find people that are working hard, people that are coming up. Not everybody's going to make it, but you can still learn from those people, and it can still be a good connection.
How do you know if someone is working, David? Because we said we like to surround ourselves with people that are doing it, people that are in the game. How do you know if they are?
As we've talked about, I get a lot of emails from people. You get a lot of emails from people that want to connect with us. And if they don't have a clear purpose for connecting with us, we search their name, can't find anything. If we go to the website that they've linked and it's not up yet, that's a pretty sure sign that they really don't have a whole lot going on. I had a woman, she wanted to connect with me a couple weeks ago. I said, do you have any specific questions? I'm not going to really be able to meet with you for a while, but if you got a question, I can answer it for you right now. Oh, no specific questions. Just wanted to pick your brain. That's telling me she's not really somebody that I would want to meet with because she's coming to me before doing any of that work. Why would you go to somebody and ask for their time if you don't have a purpose for doing so.
At the same time, when you're trying to build relationships, all the advice out there is just to reach out and get connected and meet with people and all that. But it seems like when someone did that to you, it felt a little off-putting.
Well, you want to have purpose. We have purpose when we put together our mastermind meetings. We have the purpose of providing value. We have the purpose for us of learning something. We have the purpose of meeting like-minded people. That's a huge thing for entrepreneurs. And if you're looking to connect with other people, that's a good way to go. As entrepreneurs, especially if you're in the online space, a lot of times you are isolated. A lot of times you're not seeing anybody who gets what it is that you're doing, even if you do see people. There are a lot of reasons for somebody to come out, but that social interaction is a huge one, and that can provide value.
So if you were going to connect with somebody who didn't have a lot of time, who you knew was really working, and you wanted to reach out to them, what would you do? Because I think just saying, hey, let's chat is not really compelling. So what would you do that this woman did not do for you?
I go in with a purpose. I know exactly why I want to talk to somebody. I know how much time it's going to take. Have we ever told the story about, hey, I've only got 15 minutes?
I don't think so.
All right. So this is a great networking technique. A lot of times you're going to talk to somebody. Let's say, well, I've only got 15 minutes. And what's the answer, Laurel?
I only need 14.
Exactly. Showing people that you respect their time. You've got to do that when you get connected with somebody. To me, I only need 14 shows that you've got your act together. And that's what you're trying to portray, as opposed to, no, I really hadn't thought about it. Just want to pick your brain.
Yeah, never say that to anybody. Never say you want to pick anybody's brain. That's the worst.
Never, ever, ever. I've got an entire website. It's called buydavidlunch.com. It's for people that just want to buy me lunch or pick my brain. And I've always found that really interesting, how people will buy me lunch but not be interested in hiring me. I'm not saying that everybody has to hire me who reaches out, but it definitely shows the value of what they think that my time is worth. I think that's something that you run up against, because if you're not willing to spend $50 an hour, $100 an hour, $150 an hour, whatever somebody charges for their time, if it's that important, that doesn't say a whole lot about, one, how much you value them. And it doesn't say a whole lot about what it is that you're working on. There are guys that I would pay $300, $400 an hour for to get an hour of their time easily, because I value their time, I value their knowledge, and I know what I can do with that. So I think that's another thing that people are looking for when you are trying to get connected with folks. Are you going to use their knowledge? You don't necessarily have to pay them, but again, they don't want something where you're just going to go up to them, waste their time, and walk away and not do anything with it. That's insulting to people.
I think a lot of people want to come into a strong business relationship on equal footing. And I'm wondering your thoughts on, if you go in and immediately start paying somebody, if you're more having like a coach-client relationship or consultant relationship more so than when you're on equal footing. What's your thought there?
I think that's a very valid concern. You certainly want to be respected by the person that you're paying. But at the same time, the way to not get respect is to try to get something for free. It's going to make me respect somebody if they're willing to pay, they're willing to invest. That doesn't necessarily mean that they have to pay me for the time, but I'm going to respect them more if they pay something or if they're working. Again, people want to see that their ideas are being used, and the worst thing you can do is just be like, oh, no, I just wanted to pick your brain, just thinking about it, just rolling a few things around, seeing if one of them sticks. That's awful. That's awful. Specifically, though, we're talking about building strong business relationships and how to grow those. I think you have to start low and bring it up high. You can certainly build a relationship that way where you're paying somebody, but if you're not interested in doing that, what we're talking about is actually using the advice that's being dealt to you. Coming prepared, that's a big one. But for us, as far as meeting new people, we talked about discovering new talent. I try to make approach a constant activity. I've got a lot of feelers out, because if you want a strong base, it can't just be one person. A lot of times people will try to go for that one guru. How many times have you seen a book author, Laurel? Oh, if I could only get on Oprah, if I could only get on Oprah's book club, she's going to sell a ton of these things for me. They're betting the farm on one thing. That's not how it works. You have to have approach as a constant activity. It's not one Oprah. it's a million little bitty Oprahs.
So when you say make